Hey there. Welcome to episode 65 of Toy Talk with Mike and Chad. I'm Chad,
I'm Mike.
and the collection we're going to be talking about today are some of my new toys that I've gotten over the last, I don't know, month and a half, 6 weeks since I've been back to work. So I was off work for 3 months, accident, broke my ankle in two places and my tibia, so I couldn't buy anything. So I'm happy to be able to selectively start buying things as I'm trying to build back up my funds and whatever.
Well,
Um,
you look to be back with a vengeance.
yes, but at the same time, I've had to cancel quite a few
Yeah,
that I'm upset about. But anyways, let's get right into it. So
sure.
on one of your last episodes, you were talking about the Jada Toys Street Fighter line.
Yeah, it was like you weren't here for that one, but I did an episode where I previously had the Chun-Li figure last year. She was great. And then I got the Dalsum figure recently, like in my last episode there. And he blew my mind.
Yeah,
Fantastic
yeah.
figure. And I called you and I was like, man, Walmart has a whole end cap full of Street Fighter figures. They've got Dalsum and they've got this guy.
And Bison. So I was a big Street Fighter 2 fan. Like I love that game. I love the arcade version. And I had them pre-ordered on Big Bad Toy Store with Dalsum. I didn't get Chun-Li,
Yeah.
but I'm going to have to get Chun-Li now. I'm going to have to buy Ken. I think this is a dangerous line, but I love the artwork on the box, and I think they are intending to make all the characters
Yeah.
at some point.
And the player 2 color variations.
And the player 2 color variations. What I will say is that Jada Toys has just absolutely been killing it. Like I collected the Mega Man line that they just put out last year,
Yeah, which I
and
don't think we've talked about. You got to bring those on
yeah,
sometime because we haven't talked about those. I don't think.
I'm a huge Mega Man fan, and they absolutely killed those characters. It's phenomenal. Like they're priced appropriately too. It's like this was $29.99, I think,
Yep,
and
that's
like
Canadian.
that's what you want to pay for an action figure, and the amount of detail and articulation that goes into these characters, top shelf, top shelf.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't unbox him. Been a little busy with work and life. Yeah, so he's super cool. Love the alternate head where he's kind of more. I want to say it's like a
Angry.
sneer,
Yeah.
angry sneer. Um, yeah,
See, I'd be curious to see this guy out of the box because he's clearly bulkier.
yeah,
Like not like the two characters I have. Chun Li is a girl, and Dalsum is the skinny kind of Indian guy. That this guy would be bigger than them anyway, but he was always a big hulking
yeah,
character, and I can tell he's definitely got the girth.
yeah.
But I can't tell how much taller he is. I'd be curious to see that because he doesn't look particularly that much taller.
No, I would hope he is taller because he's definitely imposing in the video games.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm super psyched to actually start collecting this line. I was talking about these figures with my roommate the other day because he's probably the biggest Street Fighter fan I know,
yeah,
and we were talking about like all the characters that they could potentially make. Sorry,
mm-hmm.
and yeah, just like looking at the back, and I know Jada on their Instagram was doing like I think it was a tease, but it was also like a poll of the fans, like which character would you rather see? Would you rather see Cammy or would you rather see this one? And then
Yeah.
they revealed who won the contest like a couple weeks later.
Okay.
Um,
So do you know who won
I
that?
believe it was Cammy.
Yeah, she's the one I would want most, followed by Blanca.
Blanca, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, this is a tempting. Like I do not consider myself a rabid Street Fighter fan, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Like I liked it more than I liked Mortal Kombat back in the day. Like I preferred the brighter, flashier
Mm-hmm.
colors of Street Fighter, and I did play it to death, just like every kid our age. Because what like Street Fighter 2 came out, and then there was like Street Fighter 2 Ultra, Street Fighter 2 Alpha, Street Fighter 2, whatever. It seemed to go on for Street Fighter 2 forever, for ages. And So yeah, I played it on I think various systems as it evolved over the years. Um, that I could very easily be roped into buying the whole set too, and I don't want to.
I know, and like for a company like Jada that actually puts the time and thought into these characters, I'm 100% going to back anything they do, like action figure wise.
Yeah,
If it's a line that I like or like a property that I enjoy.
yeah,
I'd be interested to see what Zangief looks like when they put him out. If he's, because he was also a big Russian dude, right?
yeah.
So I'd be interested to see how he looks compared to M. Bison.
Well, there's a lot of unique body types like Blanca, E
Yeah.
Honda that they can't just reuse Ken over and over and over
Exactly.
again. Like they pretty much have to invest in a whole new sculpt almost every time. I
Yeah.
would think that's why them repainting these in the player 2 colors is a good choice for them financially, just because hardcore fans will buy both versions of every character and it allows them to reuse a mold that they otherwise were.
Yep.
It was one and done. So, but yeah, they're all nice. This guy looks cool.
Yeah, he's
He's got like a texture on his clothes.
Yep.
Looks like a soft goods cape, probably wired.
I would think so.
You can mold the cape how you want it to flow.
The shoulder pads are impressive too. It's like they float on his shoulders.
Yeah.
I think there's a little peg that goes into them that props pardon me, that props them up.
He looks really cool. Yeah, I'll be eager to see this guy once you open him up. But we should. We talked about this is our second episode that we're filming tonight, and we're having a poker game tonight. Chad came early so we could film these episodes, but guys are going to start showing up here in about 25 minutes.
Yeah, so we're gonna
have to kind of power through these couple of figures.
And I am a big hypocrite sometimes because I love McFarlane, hate McFarlane, love McFarlane, hate McFarlane, but as I mentioned a couple, maybe last year sometime, that he seems to have like upped his game with the action figures and improving articulation and whatever. I had an Arthur Curry Aquaman, but it sadly broke. So I've been looking for like
from McFarlane or from something else.
Something else. I can't. It was from like the
like
late
DC
90s.
Direct or something.
Yeah. So, anyways, I got the new DC Direct Aquaman with his sidekick / nemesis Quisp. He's in there.
I don't know what that thing is, but it looks stupid.
Like I was never a huge Aquaman fan. All I know is Aquaman and him were friends, but then something happened to Aquaman, and Quisp was like, "Oh, well, if Aquaman can change, I'm going to change," and so he became a nemesis to Aquaman.
Okay, but like I'm not familiar with Quisp. I know quite a bit of DC lore, but Aquaman was never really one of my favorites. I really liked the Jeff Johns run from more recent years, but anyway, this looks like something from the Silver Age.
Yeah.
This little, it's not really articulated by the looks of it, maybe very limited.
Very limited, I think.
But it's like a little elf with big eyes. And
looks sociopathic, too.
But it doesn't look like it could stand a chance against fighting Aquaman.
Yeah, so when I pre-ordered this, I didn't know that it was going to come with an alternate head. And when I opened the box and looked at it, they reused that stupid Superman classic toothy.
So is it actually the exact same head, just with blonde hair?
I put it up to it. It looks exactly the same with blonde hair.
That's weird that they would use a Superman head for Aquaman.
I mean, they obviously retooled the face, but
this head's good.
That head is good. So I pulled the toothy grin face off, and that's in my spare parts bag, never to be seen again.
But I like this figure.
Yeah.
If I have any problems with it, it's more that the outfit itself. Like,
yeah.
Say what you will about Superman and Batman wearing their underwear outside of their pants, you know. But like Aquaman, the fact that his pants and his boots are all one thing, like it's like he just slides into these little pajamas. That looks a little stupid, but that's not McFarlane's fault. That's how they designed it.
That's how they designed him.
And his pants look his crotch looks a little diapery.
Yeah. That's as close as I'm going to get right now, I guess. But
yeah, but I really like how they sculpted all the like. It's not chainmail; it's more like fins or whatever,
Yeah,
or
fish
scales,
scale,
fish
yeah.
scales on this shirt. But that looks really cool. The trident could have been a little bit better plastic. It looks pretty dull, but
I agree.
yeah, he's cool.
So he's cool. Now, on to the next action figure. This is part of a Build-A-Wave. Sadly, I had to cancel the other figures from the Build-A-Wave, but it is the Justice League of America Batman. Now, this figure I love because it reminds me of the Frank Miller style Batman. Like he's super bulky.
Hmm.
Not really a fan of Plastic Man, but I thought that the build a figure actually looked cool at a box. Um, got that classic like I want to say Batman '89 logo.
Well, it's like I don't remember. Did Batman actually wear this in a JLA comic book? Because that looks like just a Michael Keaton Batman.
Essentially, I haven't read JLA for a long time.
Yeah.
Can't remember off the top of my head.
Like it's a nice base Batman figure, which I'm sure they probably have released or will release in other colors. But this is, and I don't even think this is bad. But I don't know if this ever existed in the comic books. It looks like they just took a Batman and painted it to look like the movie Batman. Again, not necessarily a bad thing, but that's just what it looks like. It's obviously not. The sculpt doesn't match the movie Batman. So
Right.
it looks like a comic book Batman painted to look like movie Batman. I like it.
I mean, it's not terrible. Definitely not the worst Batman I have.
I like it.
And I do like that the Build-A-Figure actually came with a separate head. It has like two heads.
Yeah, like the Build-A-Figure, looking at the Plastic Man head, the sculpt is really nice on him.
Yeah.
But he's another character that I always thought, and you guys can maybe, I'll put in a picture, but on the back, like, he's a stretchy guy, like Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four, but I hate bare feet.
Yeah.
And this guy, like, he's got this
unitard.
He's got the worst uniform ever. Like, it's so stupid. He's got this bare chest, and yet there's these weird, like, fishnet over his, like, bare chest, and these bare legs. So he's literally got, like, a little Speedo bathing suit, and he's bare, like, he looks ridiculous. So, the fact that you got his head and his arms, those are the best parts about him.
Yeah.
The rest of him sucks.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah.
He's cool. I'm glad to add him to my collection.
Yeah, and Batman comes with a little batarang thing or whatever, which looks a little warped, but
yeah, the plastic. Don't even get me started on those, McFarlane. Yeah. So here is another Batman, and funnily enough, I was actually talking with my buddy Scott here a couple days ago because he's a big Elf fan, and NECA had an Elf exclusive, so I sent it to him, and he was like, "Son of a bitch." And I was like, I know, right? He's like, how many figures are they going to put out with the same mold, just a different costume? And I was like, that's like me and Batman. Like, how many fucking Batmans can they put out? Batman?
As long as you keep buying them. As long as you keep buying them.
I'm going to keep buying them. I mean, I do have to draw the line somewhere. However, Nightfall was one of my favorite Batman books, and this is the Nightfall black suit variant.
Yeah, I saw the blue one at Walmart the other day.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
I had to cancel the blue one, but I know that it's locally available, so I'll be picking them up at some point.
He looks good, but I would have probably preferred the blue over the black, to be honest. But that's also because I feel like most of my Batmans, I only have one or two of them displayed back here, but I have a lot of Batman figures, and they're all black and gray.
Yeah.
And really, growing up, Batman was always blue and gray.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just seems like most of the figures that I end up getting are the black and gray. They look more like your guy here. There's something kind of refreshing about going back to the old school blue and gray. But yeah, this is a nice figure. This is way more basic Batman like than say this guy. This guy looks a little armored up.
Yeah.
He's a little too busy in spots.
Yep.
This is classic Batman the way he's supposed to look.
Yep. And again, I only picked him up. I probably would have preferred the blue, but where it's from one of my favorite all-time favorite books, sorry. I'm going to pick him up.
And Nightfall, that's one where he gets his back broken? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're kind of rushing this along, guys. Really sorry, but
Yeah,
um,
it take a little bit of time. We're only at about 15 minutes.
this
That would be our shortest episode ever.
this one is kind of super weird. It is Batman in his first appearance from Detective Comics number 27, dated from May 1939.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot when I got him that like it's been a long time, and I obviously haven't ever seen Detective
Yeah,
Comics.
not the real
No,
deal.
not the real one, but I forgot that he had purple hands or purple gloves. Sorry,
Yeah,
in the comic, but this is actually a super cool character, and they made it like a soft goods cape that's pliable. It's
yeah,
it's wired. And look, it's like fabric. So
yeah. Because just in my last episode, I reviewed Batgirl, which I
yeah,
think I've got her standing up here on
yeah,
my shelf somewhere. You guys probably can't make her out, but I was really impressed with her because her cape had the kind of like Batman arc. So I don't know how you would describe that cape, but it's got those angular, but it was still wired, so you could pose it in all these dynamic ways. So if he's got a similar thing, that's a good thing because
yeah,
it works really well. Yeah, this cape, it's hard to make out. I guess it's probably just the same as Batgirl, so it almost
yeah.
looks a little leatherier, just the way I'm
I
looking at it.
know. I was trying to figure out, but it's definitely material.
Yeah, soft goods for sure. But it almost looks a little more vinyl-y or
Yeah.
something. But now the purple gloves I am familiar with. I have a Batman from DC Direct from years
Hmm.
ago, based on his first appearance. Also has the purple gloves.
Yeah.
The blue wrench is kind of funny.
I know. I think that's specific to the issue.
It must be. He's got a weird, like just a blue wrench. Now on the cover of Batman, which you see on the back, you can make out. Actually, I was going to say you can make out the purple gloves, but they seem to be colored blue here.
I
Which,
know, which confused me, but I think a lot of that has to do with the inks at the time.
but I think most time if you look up Detective Comics 27,
He
like
does have,
they are purple.
yeah,
So I don't know why they color them wrong on the packaging here. But there's no blue wrench that I can tell. So yeah, maybe that's something that happens within the comic book.
someone's car broke down, and he's like, "Oh my god, I can fix that. Let me grab this blue wrench out of my utility belt." I don't know. I just made
Yeah.
that up. But
No, yeah, that's fine. I don't know if I like this guy.
I I don't like him.
I
I
don't really.
just bought him because it was the first appearance of Batman.
Yeah,
I
like
think the costume is really basic. Not a fan of just the painted
the
bat
really teeny little bat.
and the ears. I always had a problem with how big the ears on the cowl were. Like they're super tall.
Yeah,
I like my Batman with probably like Ben Affleck style ears from his costume or like medium size, but these ones in the actual comic, they're like, "Brrr."
yeah. I just don't think McFarlane's great at like capturing a particular artist's
No,
look. Because like DC Direct, when they made these DC figures, if they were trying to make a character that looked like Frank Miller's Batman, it looked like Frank Miller's Batman. It looked like Ed McGuinness's Batman. It looked like Darwin Cook's Batman. Like this, it looks like a Batman,
yeah,
painted to match the first appearance Batman. But it's like he didn't even try with the proportions. Like his torso's too long, his face is too
solemn,
too
yeah,
modern.
yeah,
It's kind of like with that Batman, where this does not. This is not a Michael Keaton Batman. It looks like they had an existing Batman. They say, let's paint it to look like Michael Keaton. This one, it almost looks like they had a Batman. They're like, let's paint it to look like Detective Comics 27, but it wasn't like the intent of the sculpt.
yeah. Again, I'm not a fan of this figure, but I had to buy it as a Batman fan.
Yep, I get it. He's okay.
Yeah, he's just like meh. I was actually really underwhelmed when I had it in hand. It was just
Yeah. And did he show up from Amazon, or did you go into a store and buy it?
this was Amazon, I
Yeah.
believe. That's one of the pre-orders I had before my accident, and it was released like 6 months before, so I didn't have to cancel him.
Which reminds me, I'm waiting on something from Amazon that's supposed to come today. And I just want to check the status. It says arriving by 8 p.m., which is in 45 minutes.
And it's not even
And it's
out
not
for
even
delivery.
out for delivery. So
Hopefully they didn't lose it.
yeah, I'm thinking it's not going to come today. But I guess I wasn't really planning on doing this, but I'm going to plug it. I haven't read it yet, so maybe it's not good. I assume it will be good. I have read work from this author before, but I'm waiting on a book. And it is called. Let me open it. To Walk on Worlds. The cover has got a very kind of Frank Frazetta style. Yeah. It's an anthology book, so there are multiple kind of like short stories, but they're all based in that kind of like barbarian Conan. But anyway, this guy that wrote this, Matt Sullivan, looks like Matt John is what he's going with as his author name. He's a friend of mine, and I just mad props to him for getting this done. I've known him for a long time, and he was always like obsessed with Conan the same way I'm obsessed with Spider-Man. But like, as far as I've ever gotten is a YouTube channel that hardly anybody watches. But he started working on like the official Conan RPG game, and he started going to Conan conventions, and now he attends the conventions as a guest to like do signings and stuff. So he's really kind of like got himself in there. And then he started publishing his own original stories. And originally he would get like a short story published in an anthology. And what this here is like, he's written enough published anthologies that he was finally able to collect them into his own book. So yeah, I bought the paperback for like $20, and it's a collection of stories, 254 pages. So yeah, I was looking forward to reading it this weekend. It's a long weekend here in Canada. It's Canada Day, July 1st. It's like the equivalent of July 4th in the US. So yeah, hopefully this arrives, if not tonight, tomorrow, and I can sit around on my deck and
have a read
some fantasy stuff. So yeah, check it out. To Walk on Worlds from Matthew John. Oh, and you still got a toy, right? I thought we were done.
No, this is the last one. I pre-ordered this on Big Bad Toy Store, and you told me that it was up on GameStop. So to avoid all that shipping and customs and whatever, I ordered him on GameStop and canceled Big Bad Toy Store, but he was one I was hoping I wouldn't have to cancel just because I love the look of this figure.
He's cool.
But it is the Kryptonite Doomsday from Superman Batman. And that's just a solid figure. Like,
but like, is this from a particular comic book arc? You know? He's not from Superman and Batman. Like,
no, not the movie. I would say yes.
But you didn't read it.
I didn't read it. No, I just like the Doomsday character.
I like Doomsday too. I have a really nice Doomsday figure again from DC Direct. But
I think the Kryptonite actually glows in the dark. It doesn't say it, but I could be wrong. I apologize if I'm lying. It has like a glowy sheen on the back, anyway. But yeah, he's a huge mega figure.
Yeah, and the gist of him, like Doomsday, he's the guy that killed Superman. Back in what, the late 80s?
Yeah.
But he has all these bone protrusions, like all of his knuckles have bones. He's got bones coming out of his brow and out of his elbows. And this one here, I don't know the story behind it, but it looks like instead of bone, he's got like Kryptonian crystals, shards poking out of his skin everywhere, which is a cool concept and would definitely make him even deadlier Superman than he always was. So yeah, I'd be interested to maybe check this story out because yeah, Doomsday is a cool character. And yeah, this is a cool looking figure.
Even if it doesn't, oh my god, even if it doesn't glow in the dark, I'm glad.
Take a drink, dude.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out.
You're out
of cherry.
Oh, it's gone.
Pepsi Zero Sugar Cherry.
All right, well, hang in there. We'll get you a drink in a second. Yeah, it's a cool figure. I like the sculpt. It'll be cool if that glows green.
If not, it's still cool.
I don't love the green teeth.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Because like, yeah, if he had green everywhere else, but like still white teeth, I think he'd look scarier. I don't know. There's something with the green teeth that look weird to me.
Maybe he has kryptonite teeth.
Yeah, which again would make sense. And if he bit Superman in the storyline with kryptonite teeth, that would be a very deadly. But it's just, I don't know. It doesn't come across as cool as it might have in the comic book here. That's in my personal opinion. Seems he's one of those characters that, like, as cool as he is, I wish they had figured out a better way for him to, like, have a cooler outfit. Like,
Yeah.
Like, he's this big, disgusting. Like, he'd almost be better if he just didn't have clothes. If he was just this big rock monster. But the fact that he wears little bicycle shorts, it's just, it seems a little silly.
Yeah, I know.
And, like, the original thing, and it looks like they did the same here. He originally had this whole big, like, almost like hazmat space travel suit, and it burned off of him, and ultimately all that was left was just kind of shorts. And this one here, you can see he's got some tatters of clothes on his arms, so it looks like he had an outfit on that, again, kind of burned off. But yeah, the fact that his look now, for better or for worse, is basically little bicycle shorts. It's a little silly. I find a lot of DC characters
have silly costumes.
Yeah, like even Darkseid. I love Darkseid.
Yeah. But with the booty shorts.
He wears little booty shorts and a little skirt and thigh-high boots. Like he's like a drag queen, really. Like, and it's, but he looks cool. It's just the kind of thing that, like, you can understand why they sometimes have to change these looks when they make live-action movies, because some of this shit just does not translate.
No, it would look terrible.
But yeah, he's cool. So yeah, you'll have to open these guys up when you get home and have a good epic battle.
I don't know about that. No epic battle, but I'll definitely open them up.
All right. Is there anything else? That's it?
That's all I got.
All right. So what time are we? Because this is a short episode.
7:20.
7:20. My friends are supposed to start showing up in 10 minutes for poker. Is there anything you want to talk about? The San Diego Comic-Con reveals that just happened?
Cobra Commander.
Yeah, so we both collect G.I. Joe Classified. They've got a really cool transformation, like where from the animated G.I. Joe movie where Cobra Commander turns into a snake. They've got a cool figure, and they've got both versions of him. So one where he's still mostly a man, and then they have the one where he's like fully a snake. It's a really cool idea, because people have been making customs of that for years and years and years. And so this is the first ever officially released one, and it looks great. Hopefully it's not too hard for us to get, because we're not going to San Diego.
No.
So hopefully we can get it online. If I have to go to eBay, I already checked eBay, and people are selling for like $200 American. And I think it's only supposed to retail for $40 American at the convention. So people are definitely taking advantage of those that are panicking. I'm hoping that even if I have to go to eBay, I can kind of wait for the hype to die down a little bit and get it for, like, if I have to pay $100 for it, fair game. But yeah, not 200
American.
Yeah, which would be like 140, 280 if we paid 200.
Plus they'll jack up the shipping price.
Shipping, customs, yeah, it'd be a nightmare. What else? Now, for me, there's a new Marvel Legend Death's Head figure, which I'm really excited about. He's a character that was near the top of my want list for a long time. So I wish he was a regular release so I didn't have to jump through hoops to get him. But if this is the only way they were going to give him to me, then so be it. I don't really care about the Transformers or the G.I. Joe stuff or the Star Wars stuff. Mm-hmm. Nothing really exciting there as far as I'm concerned. But Super 7 has some Godzilla reaction figures that I'm interested in. So yeah, I'm gonna end up spending quite a bit of money on San Diego stuff when the time comes. And there could even be more that I'm not aware of. There was a bunch of new Action Force reveals.
Saw those.
Did ya?
Thought of you.
Now, it is not San Diego stuff. Like, they were at a con and they revealed this stuff. And Action Force, for those that aren't familiar, it's there's a small company called Valaverse that makes their own 6-inch military style figures in the same vein as G.I. Joe. They're really nice, and I was basically a completist for the first few waves. I even bought multiples of some of their figures just to kind of help them get going, because they kind of did a crowdfund to get started. And it's a nice wave, but I'll be honest, I'm kind of losing steam on it a little bit. And it's not a knock on them, but they just seem to be leaning more into the real world military, where I kind of like the sci-fi fantasy elements. That's what G.I. Joe is fun. Like, I like a transformation snake Cobra Commander. I like the goofy stuff. And I didn't pre-order a single one of the Action Force Wave 5 figures because when I look at them, I'm like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with these figures, but it's just here's a tough bald guy with a goatee, here's a skinny guy with a sword. Like they don't grab me. There's maybe if there was a cartoon on or something where they could give an opportunity for me to become invested in these characters, but it's just kind of like here's a basic military guy we designed. It's just not enough to rope me in anymore. And even these exclusives, there wasn't much for me to get excited about. And like their vehicle, I'm not really into. Like some people are really excited about this kind of like Jeep ATV thing they did, and it's really impressive. But I already don't have enough room just to store my GI Joe vehicles. I can't be buying Action Force vehicles. So I wish the line continued success. It definitely has its fans, and I hope they do release more figures that appeal to me down the road because I would like to continue to buy some and support them. But I think I'm going to pass on these next batch of figures that they're putting out.
Just not as a completionist anymore, a casual collector.
Yeah. And while we're got a little bit more time, you want to talk about? There's been a whole bunch of figures from Fresh Monkey Fiction. Have you seen their latest ones, the Crimson Moon things or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is company, again, another small little company that started off with crowdfunding things, but you can buy their figures through Big Bad Toy Store, which is where we do a lot of our online shopping. And there's just a lot of companies doing figures that aren't really based on an existing property, but they're so nice. Like people are really making really quality stuff. Like you were talking about Jada. They were a company we hadn't heard of like a year ago.
They used to make dinky cars.
Yeah,
like die-cast cars.
Yeah, now they're making amazing action figures. So Fresh Monkey Fiction, they did some action figures, and I was like, yeah, those are kind of neat. But now they're making like really killer looking stuff. And so they have a line called Monster Force or something like that. And I got a little trigger happy when they first put up the Monster Force ones. I pre-ordered like a bunch of them, and then when I had to take a look at my finances, I was like, you know what, I have to cancel a lot of these. So I did. I kept one because I wanted to see. I want at least one in hand so I can kind of judge the quality of them. And if it really wins me over, like say one of these Street Fighter figures, it might entice me to go try and track down some of the other ones. But anyway, I'm still waiting to get my first Monster Force figure in hand. And then they launched a whole another line, which is something like Crimson Moon or something. And it's a line of sort of monstery military. So yeah, I don't know if you looked at it, but
I did. I did the same thing. I pre-ordered and then I canceled and was like,
but I pre-ordered a bunch of them because yeah, like I don't know if you're familiar, but like in the UK, GI Joe is called Action Force.
Yeah.
And the Action Force line we were just talking about is not related to that. They kind of stole that trademark or whatever. But in the UK, they took the American figures, called them Action Force, and they mostly repainted like the American figures, but they did have some of their own unique characters that we didn't have in North America. So characters like Red Laser, Red Jackal. Anyway, there's some characters that Hasbro has kind of given us, or Super 7 has kind of given us. But anyway, this new line that Fresh Monkey Fiction is doing, it's all based on these characters that Hasbro will probably never give us, but they're definitely supposed to be those characters. They don't have the same names, but they are wearing the outfits. And so it's like when I was collecting the smaller G.I. Joes, and I first learned about all these characters that were only available overseas in other countries, they were really expensive for us to get. And I always really wanted to get those Red Shadows villains because they were like a whole other faction that we didn't know about. And now this company is unofficially giving us a whole crew of Red Shadows figures. So I have been doing better at trying to stick to my toy lines that I collect, like just G.I. Joe, Marvel Legends, and not buying frivolous things.
Yeah.
Which these figures would normally fall into that category, but really they're wink wink G.I. Joes. Like I almost feel like I need them in my classified collection. So it's I did pre-order most of them, and I hope they live up to. They look really cool, but all I've seen so far are prototypes. So hopefully they look really cool. But Anyway, I guess we might as well wrap this up. There's no point in going right until the doorbell rings.
No. Casey will be barking. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once people start...
Right on cue.
Yeah, right on cue. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog barking, but I think somebody's here. So yeah, we're going to go play poker. Good luck.
Thank you.
But we'll be back with another episode sometime. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Ciao.
Keep collecting.